Hey friends, your old internet knife pen pal here, the Advanced Knife Bro. Got another video for you today. There is a new kukri company in town called Himalayan Blades. Well, a town in Nepal anyway, not your town, not my town. They sent me a kukri to check out and smack through various types of woods and shrubs for mid-content and a shouldn't they be higher amount of views. Well, I don't know why your channel just doesn't get more views. Yeah, though, I kind of get it. The answer is not enough of this, although the music needs to be like some Nickelback. We got an American flag. We're a hero conservative. Today's video is for a kukri design called the Neo Hanshee from new on the block kukri house called Himalayan Blades. Not to be confused with Himalayan Imports, which shut down, last year in 2024. The Neo Hanshee is a customizable, modern in-house design from Himalayan Blades. The model here I ordered has a standard polished 13.5-inch blade, a rosewood handle, and full of tang. They sent me the traditional DAP sheath with it, with a Carta utility knife and a Chakmak sharpener, and also a modern leather dangler sheath, which, the handle sits at or below the belt line, which is what I prefer. Let's take a look at the dimensions. You can order this with a stick tang, a partial tang, or as I have done, full of tang. I think maybe the partial tang would have been nice too. What do you guys think down in the comments? Here's also the weight of the sheath, so you can choose which one best represents your gram counting lifestyle. I've included 2 extra tools with the DAP sheath, just to make it a little more fun, everybody. All right, let's dig deeper. First, I'd like to say the quality of this one is on par with the Kale Ashes. It's just beautiful. Can you pluralize Kale Ashes like that? I don't know. It is a fine example of a kukri, though. The handle's finished nice. The blade, man, kukris have come a long way in a couple years. Let me just give you a little lore dump on some kukris I've owned. And people rolling their eyes like, I know all the kukris you own, you son of a bitch. But my first kukri was the Bud K 2012. Of course, my first kukri sounds like a line of kukris for children. And then a couple years later was a Himalayan import. And that's about it, though. I guess a lore dump is just some uninteresting story that happened to me. See that on the social media posts, like, how about a lore dump, everybody? And it's like, there was this weirdo at Albertsons. He had a very large knife on his belt. And that's the lore. Otherwise known as Tuesday around here. You know what? We're going to take it one step further. We're going to call it world building from now on. Make it sound way more important than it really is. But I did pay $23 for the Bud K in 2012. There's a little lore for you. And then there's the Himalayan imports. Nothing wrong with them. Mostly the handles were less finished. The blade stock was thicker. And the Kale Ashes and Neo Hanshees are significantly better kukris. I will say, though, my Himalayan imports were probably early ones, and they were secondhand, so they had been used. I don't count really the blade staining and the sharpness as like any knock against them. It's just prior use. Blade here on the Neo Hanshee, though, is polished finish 5160 spring steel, which is a commonly used steel in Nepal for kukris or whatever blades they make for you. You can almost assume it's 5160 on a lot of these unless they say otherwise. Now, I generally opt for the polished finish, as I don't mind maintaining my blades. You've seen I use 3-in-1 oil, and I use a little bit of Brasso metal polish, and that kind of cleans them up if they get a little gross. Now, in all my chopping or use seen in this video, there was no chipping or rolling. Heat treat was fine. I did see elsewhere, some people who've bought kukris have had issues with heat treat. There was like one guy, it was like a KHHI kukri. It was like very obviously like wavy and rolled. Like something was seriously wrong with the heat treat. And he said that they're like, it looks like you just were twisting it. Which, no, it doesn't happen like that. I had an SC once that did that. And when you hit it really hard on something, it like deforms the blade. It's like it's very tough. We could put a marketing spin on that, I guess. Just so we're clear, we're talking about one Reddit post here, so it's not really representative of the whole line. I've had a KHHI and it's been fine. So basically, I'm like telling you like AI search results where they pull up one Reddit post and it is now part of the main thing known about the item. Anyway, the SE was covered with warranty. As far as like, have I noticed ones that are softer? The Bud K needs a little sharpening more often. I feel like the steel is a bit softer. It does not roll though. You just have to run the Chak Max on it a little bit more. And if you haven't seen it, this is how you would sharpen a Kukri. You just Chak Max on either side. And these usually come packaged in traditional sheaths. Somebody asked on the last video where you get the Chak Max, and they're often included. So when you buy a Kukri, opt for one or ask them for one. The Kukris, when they ship them, they usually come wrapped in saran wrap like this one did. And then they have like a gooey covering on them. It has a little bit of a red tint to it. Transmission fluid. I don't think it's transmission fluid, but it has a little bit of a red color to it. It's clear on the blade, but whenever you put it on I guess a paper towel, it looks red. I usually remove that and then I put a little 3-in-1 over the top of it. I prefer that because 3-in-1's a little more less sticky. When you care for your Kukris, after you're done chopping all day, you want to make sure that you clean them, never put them away wet, and wipe them down with a little oil to prevent rust and corrosion, depending on how long you store it. I don't know. Hopefully you store them in a dry place, but not everybody has that luxury. Handle here is nice and made from a standard rosewood. Common on a lot of makers' Kukris. Standard option is rosewood, usually buffalo horn's another one. The transition from the butt cap or chopri to the handle to Kanzo, we would call that the bolster, is nice. Some lesser Kukris don't handle this well. Oh boy, it's a good one, a good pun. They don't handle the transition very well, so you'll feel some jagged edges on the butt caps in those areas. However, it is recommended that if you are using this for yard work, to wear gloves, hydrate, take some breaks every now and then. Don't wave it at a neighbor you think has been driving too fast down your street. Ridge in the middle, or the harar, is also nice. I say these alternate terms like I have always known them, but I literally just looked them up right before I wrote this because I knew they were called something different. But don't be fooled. I don't know anything about Kukris or knives. Now, if it makes you feel any better, I am probably mispronouncing them, so I am an imposter. Some people also may prefer a neutral grip in the handle area, but I think the idea on a lot of Kukris, like this is just a feature of them. You can keep it in your hand while swinging. That little, the little ridge around the center is for grip, I guess. I think I looked it up once. I'm probably wrong. Anyway, the sheath. They included 2 with mine, and I know I already told you that, but that was a couple minutes ago, and I have a bad memory. I just assume the viewers do too. Now, the traditional DAP scabbard, or sheath as I always call it, is the easiest in and out. It holds your Chak Max sharpening tool and the small Carta utility knife. I don't use the utility knives too much, but I do use the Chak Max often. I already have a pocket knife in my pocket, okay? I don't need the Carta. Now, while you can mount the DAPs to your belt, they are not really meant for a standard belt. They're meant to be mounted to a uniform that has a high belt or tucked into a sash of sorts, so they ride above the standard belt height, and they're kind of like your belly area, and you can just cross draw. It's not really cross draw if it's in the center, but you know what I mean. I don't have any sashes to try this though, so sorry, I'm not super authentic about it. The other sheath here, the dangler included, is pretty nice. The leather loops that house the snaps are a little snug, but they should break in with use. I'll put a little leather conditioner on them. On the underside, it has a brass loop. I assume that's for an anchor point. You want to put like a little band around your leg to keep it from moving whenever you're walking and swinging, because Kukris are kind of heavy. They're meant to be used in the place of small hand axes, so they do have some weight. But if you're not carrying it on your belt, the DAP sheath is preferred as it is easier to use. You're just carrying it with you or in a pack. But if you're doing yard or farm work and shopping at Albertsons, you're moving around all day, you would maybe want to opt for the Western leather sheath. So it comes with you. Walk up to the butcher at the counter and go, no, I'll cut my meat myself and I'll hand you back the stuff I don't want. Comparisons first, the classic, the Bud K. It's where it started for me. The idea was trail work or bushwhacking in Missouri. Now, not like official trail work, but you're camping, no one's looking, you whoosh, a limb. You're not really supposed to, like the limb's out of the way, it's not on the trail, but you just want to get a little in on it. More compact than a machete and could chop wood a little bit better was the idea when I bought it. It's kind of like a machete axe combo. Now the Himalayan imports. It's a bit heavier. Notice the blade stock. Now I had 2 of these, and I believe I gave one away to my brother. I don't think I lost it. Both were sent by viewers, though. Thank you, viewers. You've sent me lots of great stuff over the years. I keep most of it. I give some of it away. Somebody really needs something. Somebody wants something. I give it away. Next is a Kailash stack leather handle pensioner. Now this one is favorite. It's thin. It's light. I think this was the only stack leather one they made. They may have made a few more. Probably not a lot of stack leather handles on Kukris out there. How about the Zombie Tools Vacra? Also a favorite. Listen, they're all favorites, okay? Maybe the Himalayan imports is my least favorite. I don't dislike the Himalayan imports. In fact, I do use it for when I know I'm going to be encountering rocks a little bit more. So you have your real kids and you have your step kids. Okay, that was uncalled for. I was a step kid. Next is the Kailash Doichira, which this one has a micarta handle. One of Kailash's earlier micarta offerings. I think they were testing it out here. It's pretty cool. I love this one too. And that really leaves only one other kukri, the Kailash Scourge. That would mean I have to bring out all my kukris for show and tell. Okay, fine, I'll do it. All right. It's not like I have anyone else to show my kukri collection to. I mean, I guess I could show it to the cats. Okay, I did show it to the cats, and they thought the kukris are fucking stupid. Dog didn't like it either. All right, let's wrap it up. Himalayan Blades is new on the scene, but if this is an indication of the standard release, dang it. No real complaints here. I'm starting to see them post some stuff on social media. They look like they make really nice, well-considered kukris, meaning pay attention to fit and finish, thinner blade stocks. They're not all just like chonkers, but there's a chonker. There's room for chonkers in the kukri world. I asked the designers afar about the model and who his people are, who his staff are, and if they had any Himalayan import staff. And while the two smiths or camis they employ are not from Himalayan imports, a couple of the workshop helpers did help out there. But there is no real affiliation or continuation of the brand. It's just people started working somewhere else whenever one place closed up shop. As far as tariffs, I did pay a $25 tariff on this. This was paid through my credit card. I got an email from DHL, and it was like I just paid it really quick. It was about $25. Most of it looks like a service fee. So I don't know, depending on how much you pay for it, if you pay more, if it's not going to change much because most of it's a service fee. But that is something to consider. So build that into your price. Say hi to the patrons. They love it. They love all this. Anyway, if you like this sort of review, subscribe, like, comment. Thank you for watching.